Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak On It. It's your boy Biv, and as you see, we got Dom and Tim One with us tonight.
What up, y'all?
And Super Bowl, man, it was pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Um, it's pretty good. The game was decent. Commercials was decent. Um, I thought the halftime show was cool. I thought it could have been a little longer. Thought it could have been a different song selection. But hey, that was just my personal preference on the song selection. But I thought it was overall good. Any thoughts on the halftime show?
I think the halftime show was dope. Shout out to my man Bev for actually doing some little commentary for doing it on the show. Um, but yeah, I think it was great. Like we talked about before, I didn't expect 50 to be there. But like you said, I thought it could be a little bit longer. I feel like it went by super fast. Kendrick did like one song or something like that. So yeah, I thought it was a little bit
Felt rushed.
yeah, rough.
Yeah.
I liked it overall. For the fact that that was like the first time that it was like all hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean. Me growing up in the hip hop era and loving hip hop, it was nice to see. It was one of the halftime shows that I actually tuned into it all the way through.
Yeah, I normally walk away from the TV or turn the TV. So
Right. So needless to say, like it was good, man. It was entertaining to say the least.
okay. Now, since the game has been over, a couple of things has transpired. One thing came out kind of before me and Don talked about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald talking about retirement or whatever, and we can get into that on another show because I heard somebody say something about him being the greatest defensive player of all time. But we can get into that topic on another show.
Wow. Okay.
But
yeah.
the big thing came out of that, and Dom kind of brought it up a little bit. We didn't get all the way into it. Matt Stafford, is he a Hall of Famer now?
Yep.
You
I'll
said
say
yeah.
this. I'll say based on statistics, I'm gonna just say yeah. Ask y'all this. Oh well, yes, I'm gonna say yeah. Then I ask y'all. I'll get y'all answer. Then I ask y'all a question.
Come on, Matt Stafford, Hall of Famer.
Let me see. Wait.
Are you looking up some numbers? You great crunch some numbers. All right, I'll go then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no right now.
I ain't trying to ride off of that, but I was saying no off. But
I'm gonna say no right. I'm gonna say no right now because he's not done. I still think he has enough football left that he can change that narrative. But as of right now, today, I'm gonna say no. He doesn't. He hasn't accomplished enough to get a Hall of Fame jacket.
See, that's why.
But when you open the door to Eli Manning, who's basically in the Hall of Fame for 8 games. He's in the Hall of Fame because he won 8 games.
So
if he's not a Hall of Famer without the 2 Super Bowl rings. Not even sniff the Hall of Fame. When you open it up to him, you're opening up to guys like Matt Stafford, who, like Eli, never was considered to be one of the best at his position at any point in time in his career. No MVPs, minimal All Pros, like all of those things. But you let Eli in, so that because you did that, you kind of Matt Stafford's numbers are going to dwarf Eli's. You know what I mean? So the resume, I can see people making the argument because Eli is in, and Matt's numbers are going to dwarf his and a lot of others that are in the Hall of Fame as well. Just being honest with you, but you got to factor in pass happy league. People are going to do that and all of that. They're going to have all the arguments. I'm going to say simply because he doesn't have the individual accolades. I know he played in Detroit, destroyed his entire career, honestly. We've seen what it did to Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. But for me, right now, I have to hold it against him. He did play in Detroit. I'm sorry. He's not a Hall of Famer. But I still think he has time to change that playing with the organization that he's playing with. Because I don't think they're going anywhere at the time.
So let me ask you this question. They say in the pass happy league, that means you passing more. So I think if you passing more, then your completion should go down, right? Your completion percentage should go down.
Completion percentage should go down. I think it should completion percentages should have gone up considerably.
I know they're going up.
Because you can't touch anybody.
You can touch people.
You can?
Yeah. You just can't hit them. You just can't hit them. So listen, Matt Stafford has been in the league. He's 34. So it ain't like he just came into the league where you couldn't hit people, like where you couldn't touch the quarterback, touch his receivers. Like he came in 09. He's been in the league, 12 years. So I know people was gonna bring up the Eli comparison, but if you put his numbers up against Troy Aikman.
Yeah, his numbers gonna dwarf his numbers gonna dwarf a lot of people's. But like the other things that come with it, he's not gonna have.
I know
the other accolades. And again, that's him playing in Detroit more than him, in my opinion.
I think he's 11th right now, and touchdowns 11th, and like passing yards, like 13th and something else. But again, when you start putting his numbers up against some of these famers, and again, you take away the Super Bowls, you just put his numbers up against some of the Hall of Famers. And I'm not even going to say some of the Hall of Famers. You put his numbers up against some of the people that's in his era right now. His numbers will be better than some of the people that's in his era right now that we would consider. We would say, oh, that person's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Like who?
Like if you put his numbers up against Big Ben. His numbers against Big Ben are probably going he's going to dwarf Big Ben numbers.
I agree.
Big Ben came in
good point.
Pass happy league.
Again, and hold on. Big Ben played on a team that was always run first. That's always had a run game.
Played on a trash Detroit
team on a team that's I couldn't name you a running back that was even worthy of naming since Matt Stafford was in Detroit. I don't know one.
I can't name you a wide receiver outside. Well, I can name you two wide receivers.
I can name you two wide receivers. He's made them. He's made them.
Calvin Johnson.
He's made them outside of Calvin Johnson. He's made them.
They both had Hall of Fame talent wide receivers. I mean, you had Big Ben having Antonio Brown for a run, and then Matt Stafford had Megatron. So,
and Big Ben.
But Big Ben also had the bus carry him to one of those Super Bowls.
One Super Bowl, and a defense that
he's playing for a better organization.
A top 10 defense.
He just played for a better organization.
So if you switch the two, does the Steelers have more rings?
Yes.
Yes. I say Matt's a better quarterback than Ben.
I would. So in the words of the great Deion Sanders, he said they're letting everybody in when it comes to the Hall of Fame, and there needs to be an upper room when it comes to the Hall of Fame. So if you're going to let Eli in, then I can see the argument for Matt Stafford getting in, but there needs to be an upper echelon as far as.
No, there doesn't.
Why not?
Because you need to just stop letting any and everybody in. Like,
but they don't let anybody in. They don't. If we're being real, they don't. There's a bunch of people who are out there.
No, there's a lot of guys that are in that shouldn't be in, and there's a lot of guys that are out that shouldn't be out. So they don't let. So it's weird.
Devin Hester's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Why? He's one of the greatest returners. But he's the greatest at his position.
I know, but that's why people I think he should have got in. Somebody else.
I think he should. I think he should have got in.
Would you put Devin Hester in over Eli Manning?
No.
Oh.
I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't. I mean, when you look at Eli numbers, like again, when you look at Eli numbers, a lot of people say he went, he got in off of just those two playoff runs. Well, Eli 10th in passing yards. He's 10th in touchdowns. He's 13th in wins.
You're making my point of a pass happy league, Dom.
But he came in 2003.
That's when it started.
Listen, no, he also had 2,000-yard rushers, right? He had Tiki Barber, who was on that team. He had Brandon Jacobs. He had Ron Dane. Like he had a lot of rushers on that team too.
Yeah, Tiki Barber.
And he had Tiki Barber, who had 1,000 yards. Brandon Jacobs who had 1,000 yards.
Personally,
Bradshaw had 1,000 yards.
I'm not taking anything away from Eli, but I'm saying as far as position-wise, we have the greatest punt returner, kick returner ever, and he's not a first-time ballot Hall of Famer. And we're debating Eli Manning over or not over Matthew Stafford. I'm just saying when we put those two together, if you got a ballot and you tell me Eli Manning or Devin Hester, I'm picking Devin Hester all day because he's the best player and on his position. Like, people were scared to kick to him. Nobody was really scared of Eli.
Listen, in them playoff runs, yes, you was.
That was the defense.
No,
that was they was only scared of him 2 years out of his whole career.
Listen, them 2 years out of his whole career, he went in and beat the GOAT twice, right? He beat the GOAT twice.
His team won.
He made those throw. He made that throw to Mary Ham.
He did.
Made that throw to Derrick Terry.
I'm not taking that away from him at all. But at the same time, who knew that the New York Giants would hold the 17, 18, 19-0 Patriots to 17 points?
All right, so let me ask this question then. Since we're bringing up team, because football is an ultimate team sport. John Elway, who won them Super Bowls? Was it John Elway or was it Terrell Davis?
Hold on. John Elway deserved to be able to just coast at the end of his career, bro.
I get it.
He had already brought the Broncos to 3 Super Bowls and didn't do nothing. He could chill out. He could chill out.
But listen.
But I get what you're saying. Like
he got 2 Super Bowls on the back of, because Tamon just said it was Eli. It was that front four. Eli was a quarterback.
It was a great portion of it. I'm not saying it's all, but it was a great portion of their whole entire run, both times.
Who won the MVPs? I think Eli won both of them things.
Yeah, because he threw. I mean, you got the last drive, and you got the helmet catch and
two playoff runs does not put you in the Hall of Fame.
Listen, it's not just the 2 playoff runs.
That's it, man. He was an average quarterback his entire career. His entire career, he was a
Hall of Famer. So
hold on, Terry Bradshaw. No, Terry Bradshaw was not an average quarterback.
Let's pull my man numbers up.
Okay, we can pull up numbers all we want. I'm talking about eye test.
He had
Terry Bradshaw,
defenses.
and he had great defenses. So what? So did Steve Young. So did Joe Montana. Like that's part of it. But Terry Bradshaw was a gunslinger. So like you're gonna look at it, you probably gonna say, man, he had a whole bunch of interceptions because that Joker thought he could make every throw possible.
You make it
just like Hold on. And he also played in an era where you get punched in the mouth, literally, when you was trying to throw the ball.
And they had
so now we're knocking my man for his error. Now we're knocking Eli for his error.
No, I'm knocking Eli because I watched him play and he's trash. That's what I'm knocking him for.
He has the 3rd most. If you pull up his numbers, the 13th most wins in the history of the NFL. 13.
Oh.
I think he got more wins than Eli Manning. I think he got more wins than Terry Bradshaw.
They also playing 16 games now versus 12 back then.
I'm still picking Devin Hester over Eli Manning.
Nah, listen, Eli had a bigger impact on his team than Devin Hester did.
Okay.
He did.
I'll give you that. When he plays quarterback, he touches the ball every
That's what I'm saying.
time.
Like that's like saying you're gonna put a kicker, like you're gonna put Justin Tucker, who's probably gonna be the greatest kicker of all time, ahead of Eli on the Hall of Fame ballot. You're gonna pick Justin Tucker over Eli.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's the best at his position.
Absolutely. Every time. Justin Tucker, give me him. Adam Vinatieri, give me him.
Hilarious.
Every time. They were. I don't understand it, man. You can be mediocre. You can be mediocre. So what you're saying, Dom, is you can be mediocre for 20 years, but at the end of those 20 years, if you have top 10 stats, you could be in the Hall of Fame. That's what you're telling me.
I'm just saying he has Hall of Fame.
No. No. So you can be average your entire career, but if you play long enough, you can finish top 10.
So is Big Ben average, or is he Hall of Fame?
Big Ben at certain points in times in his career was thought to be a top 5 quarterback.
I don't think he was the best quarterback.
No, I didn't say best quarterback. Ever. I said top 5.
I don't know if he was a top 5 quarterback.
I'm still a hater, so I would never consider him top 5. But Big Ben had seasons. Big Ben had seasons where he played like he was a top 5 quarterback. I've never seen Eli Manning. How dumb? He was dumb. He might have made the playoffs 2 other times other than the 2 Super Bowl runs. When was he having great seasons?
I think he's led the league in touchdowns.
And interceptions.
Interceptions multiple times.
He a gunslinger. You just said Terry Bradshaw was a
gunslinger. No. Eli Manning is not a gunslinger. Eli Manning is not a gunslinger. Eli Manning just makes terrible throws. Eli Manning is not a gunslinger. Eli Manning makes terrible throws and makes terrible decisions. No, not that Eli.
Listen,
I'm not saying that he's not.
Yeah, we talk about Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll say no to Matt Stafford. He's only got 1 Pro Bowl. Granted, he was on the Detroit Lions, but
dang, that's what we base it off of. Those things.
I mean, it comes off accolades at the end of the day. I mean, he was the number 1 pick.
No all pros. No all pros. 1 Pro Bowl.
And we know this. Listen, we know this. We know all pros, Pro Bowls. Those things are all narrative based. He plays in Detroit.
Not the all pro.
Not all pro.
All pro.
Pro Bowl, yes. Not all pro.
All pros are narrative based. Listen, how can you make an all pro team but not make a Pro Bowl?
Because Pro Bowl is fan based too.
How can you make a Pro Bowl and not make an all pro team?
Because one has nothing to do with nothing. One has nothing to do with the other.
No, the Pro Bowl is not a fan vote. It's not a fan vote.
All pro is really based on the coaches. So if I'm coaching against you, I know who I got to prepare for extremely well and who I don't. Pro Bowl is pretty much it's the All-Star game. You pick and choose. Like fan favorites make the Pro Bowl.
I disagree with that, but I think because I don't think fans vote. Well, I know fans don't vote.
For what?
Pro Bowl.
For NFL Pro Bowl?
Yes, you do. I vote every year for the Pro Bowl.
You do?
Yeah. You go on the website, you go on the NFL.com website. You can vote for the Pro Bowl every year. I vote every year.
In my life.
I vote every year.
Oh, so it's you who not put Matt Stafford in the Pro Bowl.
Yes, I'm one of them. I would never put Matt Stafford in the Pro Bowl, man.
Because he had to be top 3 in the conference.
He would have to finish. He would have to finish top 3 in the votes. And when you're playing in the same conference as with
Aaron Rodgers.
He's in the same division as Aaron Rodgers. So you play in the same conference as Aaron Rodgers. You know, then you got Russ coming in late. You know what I mean? And then it don't matter who's got the star on his helmet. He's going to get some votes. So, like, it's going to be tough for him to get into the Pro Bowl. What? Come on. Because I said that. What? Tony Romo was making Pro Bowls.
He was.
What do you mean?
It's only Romo, man. Listen, you're gonna open up another can. I ain't even.
No, I'm just saying.
He's gonna get in the Hall of Fame too.
No, he better not. But I'm just saying, he maybe as a broadcaster. But I was just saying, like, it was hard for him to get votes dealing with those things as far as the Pro Bowl. That's all I was saying as far as Tony Romo or Dak. When you got that star on your helmet and you're a decent quarterback, you're going to get votes. You're going to get some votes.
I just think, listen, looking at the eye test, Matt Stafford is better than a lot of
quarterbacks, man.
He's better than a lot of
I do not disagree with anything that you said. And again, I'm basing it off of the Hall of Fame.
Right now?
What the Hall of Fame has said is a Hall of Fame quarterback. And up until Eli, they said you had to have certain credentials. And then with Eli, they said, maybe we don't have to have all of that as long as you have this. So we'll let you in. So by that standard, I think if he can get another Super Bowl, I think he's gonna be a shoo-in because the numbers are the numbers, regardless of what you want to frame it as, a passing era or whatever. The numbers are the numbers, and he's gonna be compared to the guys that he played with, which his numbers trump a lot of theirs. Let's be real. Only thing was he played for the worst maybe the worst ran organization in football.
The worst ran organization in NFL history.
And I feel like I feel like you should not hold that against him. I don't think you should hold it now.
And listen, I think the accolades are actually going to start coming because he plays in LA now.
That's why I said not now, but he's going to be.
So I can agree. I can agree with you, and I was basing it also on the projection. I mean, on what his numbers are, and the fact that he is still playing, and he does have that Super Bowl in his pocket.
You can look at it just in this 1 year span. He took this team in his first year with them. He gets his first playoff win and his first Super Bowl.
And
the numbers weren't that different than they were in Detroit. Like, only thing is now he's winning. He got a better team around him.
Like I said, I think his playoff run was great. Like,
absolutely.
So he beat Tom. He beat Aaron, but he beat the team that beat Aaron. Yeah, I mean, so.
But he played some. I don't think he played a team that didn't have at least a B defense. At least a B defense.
Great defense.
He played some really good defenses and beat them, and majority of them were on the road.
Yep. Only one that wasn't on the road was the
NFC Championship.
Yep.
So
on the road.
So like, I don't know. Like I think Matt Stafford is the third true victim of the Detroit Lions. After Barry, after Calvin, because if he's playing in another place where he's gonna get those Pro Bowl votes, he's gonna get the wins that people are gonna say, man, with the wins and his numbers, he's definitely an All-Pro. Because Drew Brees wasn't getting MVP votes, wasn't winning MVPs, but he was making All-Pros because he was winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got the Super Bowl, and no one will question whether or not Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame. If Matt Ryan wins that one Super Bowl that they were up 28-3, I don't even think people question whether or not he's a Hall of Famer because he got that Super Bowl ring and he beat that guy. So I don't know. I think Matt Stafford is really, really good, and he's just scratching the surface of his success as a quarterback in LA. So
if he don't get in, I'm not going to say, oh, that's a robbery.
Not at all.
I believe that the way he's been performing and the trajectory of his career is going to push him in.
And again, I think the numbers warrant a Hall of Fame career now. He just doesn't have the accolades to go with those numbers.
Yeah, to go with him, John.
And that's only because he played in Detroit.
We're going to pull up some Terry Bradshaw numbers. He probably ain't got them accolades either.
Oh, Terry Bradshaw, again, he was the quarterback of the Steelers during the Steel Curtain era. His numbers I looked at his numbers. His numbers are not impressive at all. His numbers are Terry Bradshaw numbers
ain't
impressive at all. Troy Aikman numbers aren't impressive at all.
To my guy numbers ain't impressive to me either.
Who's that?
Dan
Marino?
59% completion rate.
Again,
he got a lot of things.
Right now, they say 60 is the thrush mark, but to me, that is because you can't touch the quarterback, and you can't mug receivers. Like Terry Bradshaw was playing in the era where you could take a receiver 10 yards down the field and body slam him if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it didn't help or hurt his completion percentage. Terry Bradshaw's completion percentage is down because he threw so many interceptions. Just being real. But anyway,
they're better passers nowadays. But that's just my
absolutely. Again, that's evolution of just the game. I think a lot of these guys are just physically better quarterbacks. They just throw a better ball. They have stronger arms. You know, they see the field better. Like, I just think that's the evolution
of technology
the game.
Now. Yeah. They got all this technology now. They just smoke back in the day and just go and play.
Yeah, man. They just drink a 6-pack, you know what I mean? And roll out of bed.
What did I jump back in on?
That's what I was getting ready to tell you, bro. You walked in on something. But yeah, like they just drink a 6-pack, roll out of bed, and you know, let's lace them up and play some football. Like that's what they used to do. We was talking about back in the day. Talk about back in the day.
Yeah. They was smoking cigarettes in the locker room and all that.
Yeah, man. Like, man.
Go right to their second job all season.
Yep. Ain't nothing. All right. So big trade in the NBA. We kind of touched on it a little bit during the Super Bowl. James Harden is now the Sixer. Ben Simmons is now a Net. There's some other pieces in there. I think the Seth Curry addition is what really kind of, for me, put it over the top. But Dom, you are the Sixer fan in here, so we know you're gonna say the Sixers won the trade. We talked about it before you, so tell us why you think the Sixers won the trade.
Listen, it's crazy. I'm torn. I was torn. Now I'm thinking about it. Listen, I was looking at Ben Simmons in the next unit today. I'm like, dang, dog, like you want to come back and kill us. You want to come back and torture us. But like, I think it's one of those trades where it's a win-win for both teams because the Sixers needed another scorer. I mean, they needed a legit co-star with Joel Embiid. Not saying that I don't think Ben wasn't a co-star, but they needed somebody that actually, like, if they doubling Joel, somebody who actually go get another bucket, like what Giannis has with Chris Middleton. Like, I don't think Tobias is that. I think Chris Middleton proved that he's a legit Robin last year because I think Giannis missed like 2 games or 3 games, and Chris Middleton was carrying them in the Atlanta series. And I think if Joel Embiid had missed some time with us, I don't know if Ben Simmons was going to be able to get offensively in the playoffs. And I think that's what James Harden does now for us. I think what Ben Simmons does for them, though, this year, or Brooklyn, is he gives them a defensive anchor where he's going to be able to cover 1 through 5 and also take some of the ball handling responsibilities off of Kyrie. So I think it's a win-win for both teams. But if you ask me who won the trade, I think it's Philly, because and the reason I say that is because they have the best player playing right now in the NBA, in my opinion, and Joel Embiid, and to pair him with James Harden, I think that's going to elevate them to another level. I don't know what Brooklyn will be with Ben Simmons quite yet this year. So that's why I would say it's Philly, because I think that they're in championship window right now. And Joel Embiid's playing some of the best basketball over the past few years.
So I think that they probably going to end up playing each other in the playoffs. So that'll be interesting. But when I looked at it, I think it was more so the picks that got me, because at first I was like, okay, they did all of that just for James Harden. Then I seen Paul Millsap, and I was like, okay, that's decent. But at the same time, you gave up Andre Drummond and your best shooter. So what Brooklyn now has, like you said, as far as defensive stopper and a pass first point guard, and you got Kyrie now, who's not really a pass first point guard, even though he's only playing half of the games. It it frees up a lot, and it gives them a lot of different matchups, especially they can match up well on defense to where you can put now Ben on their best scorer, and that allows Kevin Durant to be a roamer almost. And the addition of Andre Drummond as well does wonders for their bench as far as their bigs. So I think Brooklyn won in this trade, especially when it came down to the picks. And at the end of the day, like giving up, I think the Sixers gave up too much. I think that, I know the situation, Ben's not playing, of course, and James Harden went out of Brooklyn, so it made complete sense. But to give up the picks and the player that's not playing, that to me was like the cherry on top. So even though the picks, the guy that they picking in probably is 8th, 9th grade right now, but needless to say, it's still for their future. Who knows as far as what's going to happen with KD and Kyrie in the future? Because KD is over 30. You know what I mean? So Ben is really like their future going forward. And if you can have Ben for the next 5 years and then pick up that pick, you never know. So shoot, Brooklyn was still was it Brooklyn or the Celtics was still eating off of that Kevin Durant and Paul Pierce trade. So I think Brooklyn won in this case.
I think when I look at it, when we bring it down like that, they really only gave up the picks, Seth and Drummond, because Ben Simmons wasn't playing. Yeah, so he wasn't really a factor. But even with the picks, those are going to be late round picks. Like one of them's the 22 pick. That's the late round pick. That dude right now going to make the team. And then the 2027, Joel Embiid's 27 now, so that's 4 years from now. So Embiid still be 31. That's going to be a late round pick. So those picks are not worth. I hear you. I hear you. I hope, but it ain't gonna be a top 10 pick.
Which is why for me, the Nets won this trade. Simply because you just put all your chips in my opinion, the Sixers, on two guys that honestly don't stay healthy. James Harden, he's not getting any younger. We've seen that he don't take care of his body. And you basically put all your chips in on that guy. Weird, right? That he missed the deadline for the paperwork for his extension. That's weird.
Who, James?
I thought that was a little weird. But that to me was a little risky. Like, I understand you needed that. Like, the window is open right now. The East is up for grabs. And if you get out of the East, there's no juggernaut in the West. So, and you definitely, and there's definitely nobody in the West that can handle your big. So, you get out of the East, anything, there's none. You can look up, there's none. There's none. There's Google. There's none. Nobody. Name one.
Not one.
Jokic. Dang, y'all disrespect Jokic, yo.
Hold on. Jokic's gonna get his numbers, but he's not gonna contain Joel.
No, I get.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I saw DeAndre Ayton give Jokic work in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I'm just saying, like, the numbers may even out.
Yeah.
Even out. I'll say this. He made Andre Drummond made Jokic work here. That's why they won that series, because he made him work.
And Rudy Gobert, we all know he don't want no smoke.
He don't want no smoke.
But that to me is the deal. James Harden, I don't like him paired with Joel Embiid in the basketball sense. Like, the pick and roll between those two is going to be crazy. But Can James Harden stay healthy? Like it's almost like Chris Paul. Can Chris Paul stay healthy? You know what I mean? For me, that was the only concern with that. And to me, Seth Curry was the icing on top, man. Like I don't know how. I'm gonna be honest with you.
He won the reason why I lost last year.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When you can shoot like that, I can allow you to play a little lax on defense.
It didn't help us last year because he was getting cooked by Kevin Huerter. Cooked. Kevin Huerter ain't seen a series like that. Kevin Huerter ain't seen a series like that in his life.
Yeah. But now he got Kyrie and KD. They're gonna have his back offensively. So
and I don't think if we talk about pure in the basketball sense, they still have nobody that can match up with Joel Embiid.
Who?
I mean,
the Nets.
Yeah,
absolutely. But you absolutely don't have anybody that can match up with KD.
We ain't had nobody that can match up with
or
KD.
Kyrie.
We didn't have nobody that can match up with KD with Simmons. So
you know what I mean?
Now we have an offensive weapon two offensive weapons that y'all can't match up with.
Two.
I think
James Harden gave Ben Simmons 28 and 12.
It was almost like a desperation move for both franchises.
That was before the ref started actually referencing him like you're supposed to ref basketball, right? And before he threw on the freshman 30, right?
Listen. He threw on the freshman 30.
He's not that dude anymore. He's not that dude anymore.
He finished third in MVP last year. Listen, when James Harden is not happy, he puts on unhappy weight. When James Harden is happy, he starts shredding. You know what I mean?
But that's you can't. But again, you can't be trying to get in basketball shape in February. He's trying to get in basketball shape in February. It's a wrap. He is who he is for this year. He is who he is for this year.
What I didn't understand.
10 and 8.
One thing I didn't understand is the fact that like they traded in the same conference. Like I thought that was like a unwritten rule. Like, and that's why I think like with the Sixers, of course they wanted to get rid of Ben, and I'm still not understanding why James was unhappy in Brooklyn because with Kyrie and
really don't understand that.
They was 13-3 when all three of them played.
That's the point. That's the exact reason why he wanted out.
Oh, because there's only 16 games.
There's only 16 games, bro. I didn't come here to play 16 games with you guys. I came in here to win a championship, and it looks like y'all aren't all in to win a championship. Yep. Kyrie's not all in to win the championship. He's not all.
And James said that.
How?
Said that.
What do you mean how? Like, dude,
I'll just tell you what James Harden said. I
get it, but I'm just saying, like, because he wanted to play. It's just that they told him he's not gonna play.
Bruh, I understand your philosophy and where you stand on and everything. He has a right to feel that way. But if your priority and your number one priority is basketball, you're gonna get that shot.
You're gonna get the shot. Just being real. No, that's being real.
Just being real.
That's just being
bro.
Real.
But if your number one priority is standing on your rights,
then okay.
And what you believe in?
I'm not going to knock Kyrie on that. You know what I mean?
I'm
not knocking for it either. He has every right to do it, and I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he did it. But there's consequences for it.
Like I said, there's consequences. Listen, we all came together and said we're going to do whatever to get this championship. I'm vaccinated. Kay's vaccinated. You're not vaccinated. And again, that's no shot. James Harden said it. He said, Kyrie is one of my best friends. We're cool. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie and say that him not being vaccinated did not play a part in my decision making. He also said there was a lot of stuff that was happening behind the scenes that he ain't really want to talk about. And he also said that Philly was his first choice. Period.
He knew the co-owner.
Right. He cool with Michael Rubin. He cool with Joel Embiid. He's cool with he's cool with Daryl Moore. He's cool with the other dude. The other dude that they brought over. He's cool with Doc. That was always his first choice. He said again, if we're being real, the one that has been consistent and constant on the team has been him. He's been the one that's been constant there.
It better be a Philadelphia versus Phoenix in the finals.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
What? It better be a Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly has to get to the finals.
I don't agree with that either.
I don't agree with that either because
not this year.
This wasn't a championship or bust team before, and you're not going to add a dude that's never been to the finals and then say it's a championship or bust team.
With Ben Simmons, yes, we were. With Ben, we were a championship or bust team.
What seed is Philly now? 4?
You think? Hold on. You thought y'all were a championship or bust team with Ben Simmons?
Yes.
After the way he performed?
No. I'm not talking about this season. Last season, the way we were playing, we were the number 1 seed. It was a championship or bust.
No, man. That's
Harden.
They're only 2.5 games out of first right now. So like,
and it's been Joel Embiid.
It's a lot of teams. It's a lot of teams in that hunt, though.
But listen, how many of them do you actually believe can? Because I'm being real with you, I don't think Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn is going to be a championship or bust team. I think Milwaukee, maybe. It's probably going to be Milwaukee, Miami, Philly. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's only maybe Miami, Philly, Milwaukee, and if KD's healthy, Brooklyn.
Like I said, if KD healthy, okay.
Brooklyn. That's it. I don't trust any of those other teams, and I'm a Bulls fan, but I don't trust any of those other teams. But
they got to contend with Joel Embiid.
I think only one team in the East has championship or bust expectations, and to me, that's the team that's the defending champions, and that's Milwaukee. I don't think I don't know Brooklyn, Kyrie, all over the place for the past 2 years. I don't think you could put championship or bust expectations on them.
I want to say this too. When he said about it just being the Kyrie wants to play. Well, going back last year, right? When Curry had opportunities to play, he was taking vacations. He was taking PTO time. Taking PTO time. That player.
Everybody's entitled to their PTO.
Yeah, everybody is entitled to their PTO. Everybody is. But listen, I'm going to question your. And listen, James Harden was regularly putting in 82 games, 70 games, 37 minutes a game. Like he's committed to playing basketball.
And that's taking a toll on him too, man. He doesn't move the same, man.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if it's the Sixers and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm going to pencil it in.
I'm expecting it because I don't expect New York to change their vaccination mandate in time for the playoffs. And I'm still not sure how healthy KD will be. And I don't think any of those other teams in the East are even good enough to contend with them over 7 games with those two teams. Other than Miami.
I don't think Miami can compete with them the way Joe. Listen, the only way you beat the Sixers, if we're being real, is you get hot from behind the line.
No, man. Don, we're not getting ready to sit here and act like y'all didn't just get smoked by the Boston Celtics last night.
No. So what happened?
Like,
what happened?
Tobias Harris is inconsistent as a third guy. Tyrese Maxey is young. Thibault is inconsistent.
Let's not act like Boston wasn't 12 from 15 from the 3-point line in the first quarter.
Hey, Boston's made a run. They done won 9 in a row, right?
I'm just saying.
You get hot from the 3-point line.
I'm just saying that team, your team, is very flawed.
No,
yes, you're very flawed. You're very flawed. No, I didn't say. You would disagree.
No.
Are you kidding?
I like Thibault. I like Maxey.
Then you still have Tobias. That was another reason why I didn't think the Sixers won, because Tobias Harris wasn't involved in some trade.
Tobias giving you 20 a night.
Yo, bro, I could care less what he does in the regular season, bro. We've seen this. We've been down this road.
I'll say this.
He's never been. He's never had to be the closer.
They had the closer.
We've seen this before. He was an all-star, wasn't he? Or close to it, right?
No all-star.
He was close. He should have been last year.
Last year.
He should have been last year. And what was he in the playoffs? MIA.
24 a night.
MIA.
Okay,
MIA, bro.
Well, now they have a closer. Now they have a closer.
Now they have a. I always thought they had a closer in Joel. Because he shoots free. Because he could hit the free throw.
This year he became.
I see that.
Because he can hit a free throw.
Back that he did the other night, bro.
He covers a multitude of sins, yo. He covers a multitude of sins. He
covers everything up. He does.
No, he took
because you can see
his three, bro.
You can see how bad that team is when he's not around.
Oh yeah, he's the
that team is bad when he's not around. Yo, he covers a multitude. I like the young guards. This is why I didn't like the Seth Curry being involved in that trade. But I like Tyrese Maxey. I like him. I like Thibault. I like him. He does everything you need. He does everything you need to win a game. But I don't think you can win. I don't think Tobias Harris makes you very flawed, bro.
He's not.
You put too much on his shoulders, bro.
He's the third guy.
You just said exactly. That's too much. That's Tony. That's Tony Kukoc. That's Tony Kukoc. The Bulls don't win those last three without Tony Kukoc, bro. That is a guy that is very, very important. And that dude don't step up ever.
I see it. I got to see that he's not. Because listen,
you got to see it,
he was giving 24 a night in the playoffs last year.
But hold up though. He was legit their second offensive option though.
Second guy. He was the second option.
And was stinking it up.
I give you that. So now he's comfortable in the third role, and now you got James and Joel. So
we keep saying that. I don't know of too many people who's all of a sudden their opportunities go down and they play better.
His opportunity is not going to go down, but he's not going to get
the
that.
pressure might have been too much for him.
And
his opportunity is not going to go down.
He only shoot 50,000.
So you don't think
12 times a night.
So you don't think James Harden
12 of those?
James get ready to take at least 4 or 5 of Tobias' shots. At least 4 or 5 of his shots.
All right. And it's production.
Tobias Harris he's gonna have to show me. He's gonna have to show me because I don't trust him.
And I agree.
Doc Rivers sorted out.
I agree with you. Listen,
never trusting the guy that figured it out one time too. Oh gosh, y'all just keep making my case for me. Y'all keep making my case for me, man.
It's Mbutu.
The Sixers are flawed, bro. The Sixers are flawed. And in May, we're gonna be on here and we're gonna be talking about how Doc Rivers and Tobias Harris didn't get the job done for the Sixers in May. And I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna be like, remember we had this show? And I try to tell y'all.
Well, listen, this is on tape.
All right. I'm trying to tell y'all. But anyway, moving on real quick. Olympics. I know I don't watch the Winter Olympics. You know what I mean? I knew it was going on, but I didn't have any idea what was going on. But the news has been a lot of negative news coming out of the Olympics. The figure skater from Russia. I'm not even going to attempt to butcher her name.
Nope.
All right, I'm not going to attempt to butcher her name. And I'm gonna put this out there first. The young girl, she did nothing wrong. All right. I don't think that the young girl took any type of pill willingly or unwillingly, knowing what it was. Mm-hmm. That was the adults around her that gave her that pill, and she failed the drug test. Here's my issue. Just be fair. She failed it. She shouldn't participate. It's just that simple. Cut, dry, wash your hands with it, move on. But you open up Pandora's box when you let her participate after the failed drug test, which was in December, and we didn't find out about it until February. So, what y'all think?
One thing I wanted to know, was it the Olympic Committee that said that she could still perform?
I believe so, yes.
It was. I believe it was the Olympic Committee.
So this can dive into politics, because I mean,
absolutely. We're talking about Russia. We're talking about Russia, it's in China. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it could definitely be politics. So I'm not going to always say that it has anything to do with race, because at the end of the day, when I look at like you said, China and Russia, they are. I mean, we see it on the news. They might be in cahoots and some other stuff.
Hold up, bro. Before we go any further, how many Black Russians you know?
And I'm just going to say this, like you just said, right? You just said Russia, China, like those are racist. Those are racist people, right? Those are people.
Sorry, bro. Because
I don't know any Russians anyway.
They wouldn't have, if she was a figure skater from Jamaica. She was going down. She was going down, bro. She was going down, bro.
I think it's me personally. I think it's more political.
I think that's part racial too.
I mean, you could definitely say that. I'm not saying that race doesn't play a part. I think that the majority had to do with politics and then race, and not race over politics.
I agree. I agree that it was more politics than race, but that's like 45% to 48%.
Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Like, is there a difference between race and politics?
You said, is there a difference?
Is there a difference?
I mean, absolutely. If we're talking about the construct of what race is now today, then yeah. I mean, like, look what's happening over in Africa with China taking over. Like, that's not because of politics.
I just don't see the. I don't see the.
But that's. I mean.
Listen. I get what Dom is coming from with this, because most of the time policy is written based upon race. You know, political decisions are based upon race. So I feel where he coming. I feel where he coming with that.
Plus, we're in America. We're in America where it's systemic racism. So we, being in this country, we understand racism in general, whereas South Africans, it's a lot of Caucasian colored South Africans in South Africa that call themselves African. You get what I'm saying?
No, I got you. But even with politics, man, it's systemic racism or prejudices in all over. Like even in Africa, even in Japan or Asia, like systemic prejudices or racism, whatever you want to call it, it's all over.
Hey now, Stephon Marbury went over there and became a star. Well, no, that's China.
Yeah, it was China, bro.
Okay, my fault. All right, continue.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. But I just feel like I just felt like, one, again, I'm gonna emphasize it. She didn't do anything wrong, because I just don't believe that. I don't believe that story that she took her grandpa's pills on accident. That just sounds weird.
That was the story?
Yeah, like how you're in training in the facilities with the coaches. So how did you But anyway,
that sounds worse than when my kids would lie to me.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just feel like I see where, because of course Sha'Carri Richardson. She was pissed, and rightfully so. Like, look, what's the difference? You know, I took something that wasn't banned, which leads me to the question of why you tested for something that's not banned. And she took something that was banned, and she could still compete. I couldn't compete, and from what I was reading, she was never received any punishment for failing the drug test. That's what it sounded like. Now, unless I missed something, or it sounded like she was never punished for it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like I can see why Sha'Carri and other athletes would be a little pissed. Like, hey, I got caught. I couldn't compete. Why is she getting this privilege? So,
true colors shining through.
all right. And speaking of true colors, the NFL. Man, we love our
ain't got
football.
enough time for this, man.
We got plenty of time, man. We got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. The NFL, man. They just every time you think that maybe, just maybe, they let you down, right? And it's weird because you can see the transition of African Americans within the NFL, right? We couldn't play, then we could play, but we can only play but certain positions. And now we can play any position, and now we can't be the head coaches on the sideline or in the front offices. And I seen a video where we basically are in the front offices of anything NFL, whether that be in the front office of the NFL headquarters, front office of NFL media,
oh wow,
anywhere. You know what I mean?
Sounds like a revolution is coming.
So the question is, because we can't say you have to hire blacks. You can't say that. How do we fix it? Or is it fixable?
Yes, it's very fixable. You have $1 billion product, right? How do you start listen to you? Start messing with their product. How do you start messing with the product? Start having the stars of that product speak out. Have the stars, and I think I talked about it before. Again, ain't nobody signing up to watch 53 Cooper Cups. Like, and again, I'm not saying that.
Hey, Cooper Kupp is a bad boy.
Cooper Kupp is a beat. Right? But I'll say this. Okay.
I'm messing with you though. Go ahead.
No. Because I usually stream. I use probably a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. But ain't nobody signing up to see 32 Brian Finnerans. Let's say that, right? Ain't nobody signing up to see. Yeah, I know, right? Like, we make up 75 to 80% of the NFL. We got to start speaking out, right? We got to start saying, all right, listen, I'm gonna sit out. We got to start saying, oh, I'm gonna have a lockout. And then the stars, the quarterbacks of these teams, they got to start saying the same thing. If we talking about we want equality, we talking about we want to see black coaches. Okay, I'm not coming to that team because they ain't got no black coach. Like, I'm not coming to that. I'm not paying for that guy. No knock on you, no disrespect. But if we want to see change, we have to start demanding that as black players. They got to start demanding that. I want to see more people like me coaching me, and they got to start doing that.
I think that the first my fault. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. You go.
The first step is acknowledging, and I think that right now we're at the point to where it's a lot more acknowledgement. It first started with the Rooney Rule, and now we have Mr. Flores taking a stand. And then if you look at some of the podcasts, you hear former black coaches such as Hugh Jackson or Marvin Lewis speaking up as far as like different things that go on behind the scenes and the reasons as to why they're not in the NFL today. Whereas other coaches, like I just seen Dennis Allen get hired again. What? That's mind-boggling to me. So I think that the acknowledgement is now like, okay, we acknowledge it. Now, what are we going to do? And now it's become a broad issue to where there's going to have to be some change. Otherwise, consequences is going to be made.
And like, you can't tell billionaires to hire black people. You just can't. So that's why I have to say it has to be on us. We have to say we're going to do more. We make up 85% of this product. People are tuning in to watch athletes. And if no athletes ain't no athletes in the NFL, your product is going to drop. It just is what it is. We have to start saying, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing X, Y. I'm not playing X, Y, Z. And again, they make a lot of money. So even after that first contract, I'm not like they got power now because they can retire. They don't have to play.
That's good in theory, but unfortunately, we live in a world where for everyone that won't play, there's gonna be 10 of them lined up that's saying, "Hey, I'll take that check."
Let's give them another option.
I think we have enough. Again, and it's so weird. I think we have enough millionaires that are on the same page, regardless of race, that you could create competition with the NFL if you want to. And I think that's the best way to do it. Instead of trying to join their club, let's create our own. Mm-hmm. That is the only way, in my opinion. That is the only way, because those owners aren't going to sell those teams and let anybody in. If they do, it'll be one over the next probably still 20 to 25 years. One majority black owner over the next 20 to 25 years. I don't see that changing. The black coaches, I don't see that changing because I don't see the ownership changing. Nope. So the only way to get what you want is to create your own space. At this point, it's over. It's over. And you have to think that in 2022, with all that's going on, the NFL talks out of both sides of his mouth at the same time. They'll talk about equality and change and all of that, but that all is good outside of our shield. That doesn't apply to our shield.
They felt like they did that with lining up with Rock Nation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That was it. They're fine. They've done enough. Here.
They've done enough.
Here, take it.
They give you
take it.
We settle. That's what it is. We settle. We give, again, if we're talking about everything from George Floyd to whatever, right? We settle. They give us a little bit. We're happy with it. Okay, they gave us that. Look at us. They gave us this. That's what we settle for. Like, okay, they Rock Nation. Okay, they're putting out starting up these things with black communities and everything like that. Okay, we're giving black people opportunities. Look, 80% of the NFL is black. Yeah. And that's just the players. What about the management? What about the execs? Like the coaches? Like,
but see, this is where I say that I really think like now it is like a revolution, because we weren't having this conversation 10 years ago and it wasn't even a thought. And now it seems like a lot of people's eyes are opening up to the systemic racism that's been in this country, and it's opening up different doors in different areas, and now it's entering into sports where the questions is now asked. And with Brian Flores saying what he said, he's putting everybody on notice, and now there has to be a change. I mean, like it's to the point to where if you don't change, then what's going to happen? And I think that even they seen what happened when Kaepernick did what he did, and they blackballed him, and how much money they lost. So then they was like, okay, let's partner up with Rock Nation, let's change some things and whatnot. So now this comes out. I mean, you've already the Rooney Rule isn't that much old, so I feel like it's not the fast progression that we would like to see, but it's to me, this is a start of a revolution to where the conversation is now had. It's just a matter of who's going to put the pressure on these owners to make these decisions. Yeah, we have 31 out of 32 of the owners are white men who are rich, and we had the one Indian guy for the Jaguars. So in that sense, for one, Like it has to start somewhere, and it starts with the implementation of coaches. Then so then what about these GMs? Okay, now the one thing that we all know, us as a black community, we don't have too many billionaires. So even with Byron Allen trying to shoot a shot for the Broncos, I'm like, yo, go for it, bro. Because even if you don't, you pave the way for other dudes that are coming up and maybe in your spot that are millionaires now that could become billionaires to own these teams. I mean, I would have never thought in I don't know how long that Jay-Z would have had part ownership of the Nets. Granted, it may have been a minority stake or whatever the case may be, but just seeing that gave the idea to other wealthy black individuals to say, okay, I can go in there too. So to me, it only takes one to open the door.
That's why I disagree with you, because we talk about the progression. When the Rooney Rule rolled out in 2003, there was 3 black coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I think a few years later, it was 8 black coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We got 1 black coach, well, 2 black coaches now, which I think one of them is a scam. But
wait,
we got
who's the scam? Lovey?
You fired David Kelly, right? You fired David Kelly after a 4 and whatever season, but then you hire his defensive coordinator who was on the same team. He was on the same staff. So why did you fire David Kelly if you was going to hire his defensive coordinator? And they're
around the same trying to save face, bro.
Who?
Fizz.
Yes, they
I mean, they still got the Deshaun Watson situation going on, and the owner, so they probably
even the way David Kelly got the job, like it was to me, they brought David Kelly in because he thought he had a relationship with Deshaun Watson. Okay, no.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm really sorry. I just gotta get this point out.
No, you're good.
If Jerry Jones hires a black coach, that'll change the whole NFL.
I disagree with that too, but you're not gonna tell these. You're not
gonna happen.
These, like, and I'm with Biz. It's almost like you have to create your own space, because unless the ownerships change, unless their mentality changes, you can't tell them that you have to hire minorities. You can't tell them that you have to hire these black people, which they basically did when they put the implementation of the Rooney Rule in. You have to basically interview these black people. So guess what? What are they doing now? That's what I'm saying. You know what they're doing now? They're actually interviewing black people, and they're saying, we interviewed them.
I mean, Kyrie said that about the NBA too, right?
Right. I say it all the time, like, bruh, I'd rather you be an open racist. Like, be real. Like, no, I don't want you. All right, so I don't waste my time. I'm going to sit here 10 hours where you interviewing me, and you know you're not going to hire me? That's 10 hours wasted. Just be real with me. I don't like your color. Appreciate you, sir. I'm gonna go about my day.
I still am under the belief that this acknowledgement will start a revolution.
I just can't.
Bro, I love football too, bro. But the NFL, in my opinion, is not gonna change. No, it's not gonna change, bro. Like, there's no true incentive. Like, we could say we can dig in their pockets, but guess what? They'll just most of them this their hobby. Yeah, I was gonna say they'll just shut down shop and move on. They have other things that they can tend to. They have other businesses. You know, they can be like, man, but that's cool. I don't have to deal with the headache of running that entire team anymore. You know what I mean? But they'll rather do that than fold to the pressures of everybody else. So I just feel like there's enough of us that love it. There's enough of us that want to see change in the NFL. And again, I'm not talking about us as just black people. I'm talking about us that just want to see change within this country, change within period. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about when I say us, that we can start a league to compete with them And that is the only way that they're going to change is to sit there and say, hey, man, we can't compete with them. That's it. Because right now, just telling stars to sit out and not make no money, that's a lot to ask them.
That's a lot to ask.
That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask them grown men because they're playing a sport that is dealing with some issues. We're asking them to now sacrifice it so we can feel better.
Let me ask you a question. How did Magic become part owner of the Dodgers? He's in a group, right?
Okay, yeah.
So there needs to be a group of millionaires to come together. I mean, they tried with the Panthers.
They tried.
They've been trying.
Again, they have been trying. You're not getting
the bull
in.
The richest black man in America. He from the Colorado area.
Mm-hmm.
He won't even attempt to try to buy the Broncos. You know why? Because he know they're not going to let him in that.
They're not letting him in. They're not.
This would be the great time to try. The pressure's on their neck.
Why do you keep saying the pressure is on their neck?
Because all the attention is now on the same situation with Captain L, and all the attention was on them, and they start losing money because of that systemic racism. Then they had to do something, which brought in Rock Nation Sports. So now you're in a position to where you have a head coach that's telling you, and you see it on his resume, like my man came in and won 7 games straight, and he got fired, and now can't get hired anywhere. Plus, you have other coaches talking about it. Now you have another billionaire that's like, it's more eyes on it now, to where now you look like, we got to do something. Otherwise, we really look like what we are.
You think these billionaires care? You think
Come on.
It ain't even about the billionaires. It's just the fact of Roger Goodell is the commissioner, right?
He works for
he works for the 32. So somebody like, for instance, the Bears owner. The Bears owner is George House's granddaughter. She's like 89 years old. So we already know that's going to stay in the family. So we have to pick and choose our different positions. Right now, the Broncos is up for sale. The Panthers was up for sale. Whenever it's up for sale, you got to take your shot. I mean, you'll never know if you don't take the shot. And right now, there's too many eyes on the systemic racism, plus football in general, plus what's going on with Brian Flores, in order for them. I mean, like,
Tamon, if that's the case, how come they ain't hiring no black coaches?
And that's what I'm saying. And you think that they don't pick and choose who takes over these teams?
You got it.
I'm just saying the pressure is on them to hire the black coaches, and they still like, nah, we'll still take the white dude that's got a losing record on 8 other teams.
It's 30. Listen, it's 32. It's 32 of those head coaching jobs. It's 32 of those. It's only 32 of those jobs in the world, bro. Those ownership jobs in the NFL in the world.
Right.
They're not allowing one of us to take one of those 32. They just not.
Think about it. Think about this.
I'm surprised they got Shaq Khan. I'm being real with you. That's the expense.
Because think about it. All of these black players come through. They play high school. They play college. They play pro. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them go on to be coaches. Have you ever heard of a black coach being a young genius? It's only the whites. That term is only reserved for the whites.
Man, you just said, man, I ain't never heard about no black young genius.
There's never been a young black genius. It's always the Sean Days. It's always
black geniuses all over the place.
Yes, but not the offensive. There ain't no offensive geniuses on the football field. Obviously,
listen.
Black.
I'm gonna tell you who a black.
Dennis Allen ain't no genius.
No, I'll tell you who a young black genius offensively, and he's never been talked about in that same category as these young white-minded offensive coordinators. He got a job. Byron Leftwich, he just won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. His offense looked great. Don't even talk about him.
Yeah.
He was up for the Jaguar job, right?
Man, that was the
Rooney Rule.
That was some BS.
See, the thing about the reason why I hated the Rooney Rule is because the Rooney Rule shields the true feelings. Because now I have to interview one. But before I didn't have to interview one. So if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. That's why I'm against people talking about let's compensate them for doing what? We want to give them picks? Are you kidding me? Now they'll hire all the black people if they can get more picks. Like, come on. Like,
hold on, wait, whoa. I didn't know that. What? So they compensating picks for hiring a black coach?
That was somebody proposed it. somebody proposed it. Yes, they proposed it, bro. Like that is what I'm saying. You talking about a sport that majority blacks play at the highest level, and out of all of that, none of them can become a coach.
Compensatory picks for black exec. If you hire somebody else's black exec, if you hire somebody else's black coach, you make them a head coach.
They need to take a page out of the movie The Banker. Make a group of black investors and have one guy that's non-black come in and say, "Hey, I want to buy the team."
They'll see right through that, bro. They'll see right through that. It's not that we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. So let's either accept this for what it is, or try to create our own lane. Because think about it, man. Look how long. We're just getting to the point where people don't talk stupid about black quarterbacks.
Yep.
We're getting to that point.
I like the HBCU football experience a whole lot better than PWI college football experience. So listen, if we make our own, tell you what.
I'm gonna say this real quick, and I gotta go. But let Jalen Hurts would have been white, they would have raved about his athleticism and about him being a winner. But because he's black, he can't beat you from the pocket. He can't beat you on. He's not a real quarterback.
That's what they say about him.
Like I said, we're still just now getting used to black quarterback. But all right, anyway, final thoughts, fellas.
My final thought is basically what we just talked about in with the black people. You have to stop being so scared about what people gonna think about you, about how people gonna view you, and just create your own lane, create your own wave. Like we can't be fearful about what you're gonna lose. Create your own wave, create your own move, and stop trying to be like everybody else. That's what is one of our biggest knocks. We want to try to be accepted by everybody. We want to be accepted by them. Stop doing that. Love who you are. Create your own move.
Do we need a resolution? Woo, woo. No, but all jokes aside, though, I mean, there needs to be some sort of revolution, whether it be, I mean, it's already been a demand of change, and nothing has really changed. So, I mean, I'm all up for making your own table at the end of the day. I mean, because they're showing that they have their own table. It's just displayed to the masses, and we're at the table, but we're not at the table like they are. So, I mean, if we make our own, then I mean, the Negro League was popping, and like I've said before, listen, I will go to a Howard versus Morgan State, Howard versus Dell State over Michigan versus Ohio State. Yes, I would, even if it's in the big house, and I'm a Michigan fan.
Understandable.
That's just me. I don't know about the rest of everybody.
My final thought. we as black people, again, just piggybacking off of what Don was talking about. We as black people, we got to stop trying to put ourselves in the places that we're not welcomed. You know what I mean? Stop trying to put ourselves in the places that we're not welcome. They've shown you that you're not welcome there. Cool. I'll go and do it myself. You know, Major League was one of my favorite movies growing up, and my man said, "F you, Joe Boo." I'll do it myself. You feel me? So that's where we have to be with this whole NFL thing for me, man. If we have to create our own, and if we have to start small with just a pro league with 4 teams and just continue to let it grow, that may be the route that we have to take, because I don't see the NFL budging anytime soon, and we can play the waiting game, but how much longer do we have to wait?
Just know this is going to be a process. I'm sorry.
Nah, go ahead. I mean, they kill all competition. I know they kill all competition. I mean, they took a debt.
Just like any entrepreneur, like you're gonna have your ups and downs at the beginning, and you gotta trust the process.
Absolutely. So that's my only thing. I just don't think that they're gonna. I just don't think the NFL's gonna budge bad. Not anytime soon, man. I really don't. So until next time, everybody, speak on it. Peace.